It's really unique to have the natural resources we have in the Dayton region in terms of water. The access to water is amazing, it's high quality, it's great for recreation, but most of all, it's core to our survival.
We're over the greatest aquifer east of the Mississippi. And that aquifer not only provides fresh drinking water for us, whereas other places have to take it from the river or from reservoirs, we also have tremendous soils because we're in floodplains, which means we can grow great crops and we can support ourselves and part of the world with our food.
Lots of challenges pertain to keeping up the health of the resources. One obvious one is incompatible development. We want to try to guide things in a way that the region can continue to develop economically while not destroying the most valuable parts of our natural resources.
The foundation has been here for a long time. It's been involved in many important projects for this region, and it makes sense that the foundation is also involved in the environment and the Conservation Fund as well.
The Greater Dayton Conservation Fund helps to preserve resources and really enhance the quality of life around here. There's so many things that we might take for granted, and yet without them it would be a pretty dull place to live.
Up until about 10 years or so ago, the Dayton Foundation, which supports so many wonderful activities or organizations, really wasn't paying much attention to the environment. When that happened, Gene Woodall and myself met with Mike Parks and the staff, and the Dayton Foundation said, yeah, we need to do something about this. And they've been so supportive in eventually forming our advisory committee, setting up the fund and providing the staff and the financial oversight that makes it a very credible fund. And the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund is an impetus for bringing all of our conservation environmental organizations together, working on these common projects, learning from each other, and also acting as an advocacy for our region, both at the state and national level.
The Greater Dayton Conservation Fund is vital to our region because we're losing natural spaces, we're losing trees, gardens, wildlife for no good reason. The population of our community has only gone up 1% since 1970, yet we have 83% more developed land. And the fund really reminds our community that those natural spaces have incredible value for our future and for the next generation.
So many of the millennials and the empty nesters today are they're looking forward to coming back downtown. And that really is a really good step for conservation funds, because now the pressure is no longer to scrape farms or scrape green fields and turn them into more housing. It's how do we reposition our already built environment and do something that people want to enjoy.
I think you can go to many places in the region and see the impact of the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund. If you go to the Spring Valley area, the Little Miami watershed area where I live, you can see signs on river crossings that designate the area as part of the Little Miami watershed.
The Conservation Fund of the Dayton Foundation has created just wonderful opportunities for outreach and education. One of the things that we're actually doing with support from the Dayton Foundation right now is reaching out to landowners who own properties that have beautiful riparian corridors, rivers, creeks, streamside forested areas, and letting them know about how they can make a difference by preserving their land.
The Greater Dayton Conservation Fund provided us with funding to allow us to build an observation tower in one of the back fields of our 85-acre property. We had a field that used to be in hay, and we used it for many years to feed the animals, but then we decided to just let it go back to its natural state. And so for many years now, it's been a field in succession, and we thought it would be nice to be able to allow the students to go up and have a bird's eye view to see the young saplings and the different kinds of trees and grasses that grow before it reverts all the way back into a deep wood.
It's very important that we educate the younger generations about how to take care of the land and the water so that it can be around for another generations long after we're gone.
kinds of things are possible through the Conservation Fund at the Dayton Foundation, and I think we've only begun to see what it can do for us. There are so many learning opportunities already that have been provided through the fund, and our conservation organizations are working more closely together as a result of it.
There's three really obvious ways a Daytonian can support the work of the fund. One is by volunteering with the local organization tackling these issues. Two, just go out and enjoy it and be somebody who knows where the parks are and who has experienced them. And three, they can consider making a donation to the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund and letting that gift last well beyond their time in Dayton.
Anyone who chooses to use part of their charitable legacy to support the Greater Dayton Conservation Fund or conservation efforts in general is giving money to a cause that is going to well outlive them, is going to help future generations so much, and probably will be something that their grandchildren and beyond can be very, very proud of.